Hello, welcome back to another grain to glass video. So this one is another one from BrewDog. This is their Punk 2007. Now, I was asked to brew this beer by Mr. David Wilson. He goes in the live chat, so I go in. I've met him a couple of times, fantastic bloke. And I was up for the challenge. I really was up for the challenge. And we actually did live tasting on Simo's channel. We did the 2010 and we did the 2007. We had the original Punk. No, we had the modern day Punk. And we had the Aldi Punk. And yeah, it was a good night. And yeah, so I've already done the brew day video, but I'm going to tag it in now, put it in now, so you can see it's a full length grain to glass. So you watch that, come back, and we'll pour this from the keg.
Hello, welcome back to the channel, and it's a brew day. And basically, I'm going to be trying a go at Punk IPA, the 2007-2010 version. I've converted it down to my scale, got my brew bag, got my hops, got my grains, got my salts, got my yeast starter. So really, I need to crack on. I've got my water heating up now. It's going to be a 75-minute mash, 66-degree mash. It says 65 there, but I'll 66 on mine just because I probably will lose a degree. So I'm going to go for 66, 75 minutes, 60-minute boil, and then see. The only thing that is different about this than my usual thing is it isn't dry hopped. So I'm going to add my hops at 80 degrees after the boil, try and get out some aromas, a little bit of flavour from the hops. So that's the hops, Atenum, Chinook, Crystal, Motueka. So yeah, I've never brewed with Atenum or Crystal, so that's new for me. And yeah, I'm gonna crack on. And David Wilson asked me if I could have a go at trying to do this, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I'll send him a bottle. But yeah, the dry hop bit is unusual, so I don't know what we're gonna get. Apparently it's gonna be, they say, BrewDog, originally, it's gonna be dry and bitter and not really like full of fruit aromas, flavours as such. Not as much as Punk IPA 2010 to present version, because that is dry hopped. So I'm just chatting now, so I'm gonna crack on and get the grains crushed in that mill. Okay, strike water reached. So mashing in, want to get it down to 66 for a 75-minute mash. Then add my salts. Hopefully on screen at the moment is my, well, the recipe I've scaled down to for this, for the BrewDog 2007 version. Like I say, it's just going to be an odd one with not dry hopping. You know, I don't know what we're going to get at the end of this. But hopefully it's going to be decent enough. I'm sure that BrewDog obviously missed out some key steps in the recipes. So I'm just going to carry on with what it says in that book. So I'm going to add in my salt adjustment, get that in the mash. It's just gypsum and calcium chloride that have gone in this today. Okay, temperature's reached. Just going to grabbing a sample to do my pH reading to see what I get. Hopefully, it says it's predicting I get about 5.3. But you never know. We'll find out, won't we? There we go. 75-minute mash starting now. So there we go. Mash complete. 75-minute mash. Just going to get this to a mash out. Going to raise it to about 75. Leave it for 5 minutes. And then pull the bag. Drain the water out of the bag. That's the next step, really. Making sure I've got my gloves on. Right, so got my rack ready which the bag will sit on. All I need to do now is pull the bag. As you can see, the work's running out. Got to press down on this now, get all that worked out, make sure I get to the pre-boil measurement I need, and the pan is on the heat to get boiling now, so I've got to get it up to a boil after I've done this. So I'm just about 12 litres there. So I've got the calculation of, well, the grain absorption is done. The calculation now is what's the boil off rate, and then what I'll leave in the bottom of the pan, like the loss when it's cooled. So I should be aiming for about 8 litre batch on this one, which is fine. So I just need to get a reading now of the pre-boil gravity. I tell you what, it looks a weird colour, doesn't it? Just one grain, you see. But at this point, yeah, I've got to boil it. Got to have a 60-minute boil. That colour, well, it's not going to look like that in the finished product. But it's just, yeah. So I just need a small sample like this to go and do the pre-boil gravity. Not too sure if you can see that, but I've got a 1048 pre-boil measurement on that. So it's 1046 with target, 2 points over. So might be slightly more than 6%, might be 6.1%. We'll see. So you can see here, this is the hot break. So this is all protein from your grains. So you can stir this in. You just need to get it to a rolling boil. Then I can add my 60-minute hop addition, which is going to be Atenum and Chinook. So that's what I'm going to have to do now. Let's get it to a boil. Add the 60-minute addition for bittering. There we go. That's the Atenum, Chinook, bittering. First one in. Set the timer. Come back at 30 minutes to add the next lot of hop addition. There we go. 30-minute addition, Chinook and Crystal. Sort of changed my mind. At the start of the video I said I was going to do Whirlpool. I'm not actually going to do Whirlpool because the recipe says at the end, so flame out. So what I'm going to do, put the last addition of hops in, turn off the stove, and then like a hop stand for 30 minutes, and then put it into my cooling pan. So there we go. So we've got some Motueka, Chinook, Atenum and Crystal going in at the flame out. So all in. Turn the stove off. Give it a stir. Then I'll put the lid on and do a 30-minute hop stand. When I mention cooling pan, it's just an additional pan which I put some water in, get it boiling, getting my filter bag in there, getting that boil so it's all sanitised, and then you put the lid on and let it all get sanitised, and then you transfer the wort into there through the tube which is sanitised, and obviously that bag as well. So after you've got your cooling pan basically sanitised and ready, then make sure that your fermenter's been cleaned, that's got sanitizer in it, my tubing, my funnel, everything's ready, even the lid for the fermenter. I'm not going to pressure ferment this. It's going to go into one of the larger Demi-johns or Cowboys, and yeah, just 19 degrees fermentation for this one. So there you go, there's the work now transferred into the cooling pan. So I'll put the lid on this, I'll get this in the sink and get some ice bottles and get it cooled down to pitching temperature. If you're not a home brewer, you're probably wondering what on earth that is, but that, I mean, it should be showing up as green. That's all your hops after you boil. And you cool it, you know, after you've transferred it from the one pan to the other. And that's all the hops and the proteins. Looks disgusting. It looks like something else, doesn't it? If you've got a dog, definitely. But yeah, that's all your hops. That's what is left behind, and that's what you take away. So it's time for cooling. So we're in the cooling pan. Got the bottles of ice. Got the water running. Just need to get down to pitching temperature. There we go. Final gravity 1058. So I'm 2 points above gravity, which was 2 points above at the start, so I'm happy with that. We should end up with around about 6% beer anyway, so let's see what we get. So I thought I'd give this wort a taste, and it's definitely got the bitterness. So it's going to be really interesting when this is finished and it's gone through its fermentation. So yeah, and well, you'll see the colour better when it's in the fermenter. Okay, so into the fermenter, wort's cooled down. There you can get an idea of the colour there. Just think this is going to be really interesting brew, doing it from some BrewDog's recipe basically. So any problems, I can blame them. Obviously can't blame them on processor. So the wort's in, fermenter. Now I just need to get the yeast in there. So I've got my yeast starter. This is the BRY. It's the West Coast yeast anyway, and it's the one that I've basically been cultivating, reusing. So I'll make a 400ml starter. I'll use 200 of that in this brew, save 200 back for another brew. So all I've got to do is basically mix it up. Smells good, tastes good. It's ready to put in. So I'm going to pitch about 200 ml into this brew. Okay, Punk 2007 Punk IPA, BrewDog's Punk IPA. Their recipe come out 1058 for me. Give it 2 weeks now, 19 Celsius, and then get it into packaging.
Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that. So the first thing is this wasn't dry hopped. The 2010 one was dry hopped. This one wasn't. So I followed the recipe out of. This one was in the black craft beer book, and I followed it, obviously scaled it to my size. I did a small batch. I think mine come out about a 7 litre final product, batch for keg. And yeah, so it's Attendam, Chinook, Crystal, Motueka hops went in, and it was just extra pale malt, 1 malt. So it's a single malt, which surprised me, and I followed the recipe. I used the American BRY Lallemans yeast, made a little starter with it, fermented it 19 degrees. IBUs came out at 60, 66 degree mash for 75 minutes, and then it was a 60-minute boil, and yeah, it came out at 6.2. So yeah, final gravity was 1.010. I think that's the same as the other Punk that came out 5.6. But yeah, so let's get same as the last one. Picnic tap from the fridge behind me. We've got the BrewDog glass. Hopefully you can see it. Hopefully it's going to come out. Have I got enough gas on there? Hopefully so. May have to adjust the glass and come back. That's just pouring foam. That is very slow. Oh no, we're okay. Didn't look down there. Very slow because I've got it on really low pressure. I've got it on about 9 psi, my pressure. Comment below what you put your beer serving pressure at, but I like it to be round about 9. The actual fridge temperature, ooh, I can't see it from here. I think it's actually 2 degrees fridge temperature that the kegs are in. So you can see this one pouring. Now if you compare this to the 2010 version, this looks more appetizing in the glass. It really does. But this is a single malt, so this is just extra pale. You'd think, looking at it, there'd been some other adjuncts in there, other malts, but nope, this is just a single malt. Let's carry on. I'm trying to talk because the actual, it's just like, it's alright when I'm not doing the video, but I'm doing a video. I'm trying to pour it. But again, lovely white, creamy looking head has formed. Let's get that down there. Pleased with that. There we go. So it's got some haze going on there. Maybe it's from the yeast, because the malts, single malt, you'd expect that to have cleared out a bit, but happy with the colour, to be honest with you. Happy with that, really am. We don't filter it, you know, there's none of that. There's no finings in there. Didn't use no Irish moss or anything like that. So that is the beer in the glass from that brew day. Carbonation, lovely little bubbles going on there. Really slow rising, perfect for me. Did I put down? I think I had it a week on 20 on the CO2. So yeah, to get that. So beer in a glass, aroma. I'll be totally honest, it's got very little aroma. It really has. There's a slight hop aroma there. Really is just a slight grapefruit. It's really slight. So let's get into the actual tasting. Cheers everyone. So much better than the 2010 recipe for me, because it's bitter. It's like biting into a grapefruit. It's piney, it's bitter, it's a little bit dank. Carbonation's perfect. Drinkability is really high. It's got a lovely white head. Like I say, one malt. You don't need, you know, it shows that you don't always need to add loads of other malts to create a nice creamy head with a nice, you know, the head sticking around, you know, it's there. It's dry on the palate then. 6.2 I think is hidden. I could drink a lot of that. I could drink I really could drink a lot of that. And I've still got a couple of litres of that left, where the other one, I've just been drinking it because it's just one of them beers that it's okay, but you know, it needs this one's a bit more like, oof, really enjoy that one, and you sort of try, you savour and try and keep it. But if BrewDog brewed the 2007 version out of that book, I'd be pleased, and I'd drink that, because there's lots of flavour. It feels a very American West Coasty. So honestly, if you like a West Coast IPA, then go and check out the BrewDog 2007 recipe. Scale it to your system. That's what I've done with mine. Like I said, I've brewed 8 litres, so this is scaled. That's all scaled to my brew kettle, because I do small batches. But definitely, if you want something that's bitter, piney, a little bit of grapefruit, piffy, very much like a Westie, then brewed the 2007 rather than the 2010. And this one, because of the hops, less hops, like I say, there's only Atenum, Chinook, Crystal and Motueka in there. It was a cheaper brew as well, and it was cheaper, and to me it's better. It really is. I really like that, and that is one I would brew again. I'd have no qualms about that. I'd brew this again. I really would. So any questions, put them below. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. It looks good, tastes good. That was done on my stove in the kitchen, and that's a lovely bitter West Coast style American IPA. Okay, thanks for watching. Cheers to David Wilson for getting me to do this. Cheers to Craig from Kent Beer Reviews. Cheers to Josh at Simo Subs. We all had a good night of tasting this live, and I'll see you all on the next one. Cheers.